Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, and all of you who are watching online, good day. I'm the MC for today, Feng Jun. I think 2020 really is a very spectacular year. We have seen the pandemic impacting the industry, the economy like we have never seen before. So, how do we deal with the influence brought by the pandemic? And how do we stand strong and stand out after the pandemic subsides? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're very happy and honored to be joined by the industry leaders today. And I very much look forward to the discussion we're going to have later today. Let me introduce our guests. Let me introduce our distinguished guests here with us today. We have the President and CEO of Taiwan External Trade Development Council, Mr. Walter Ye. And also another key figure who's been promoting Taiwan's cycling industry. We have the Chairman of Taiwan Bicycle Association, Mr. Michael Tseng. Mr. Tseng is also the President and CEO of Merida Industry. And next, we have Bunny Tu, Chairperson of Giant Group. Joining us, we also have Robert Wu, Chairman of KMC, MENG International Inc. Thank you so much for coming. And also for all the friends from the media, we have a QA session at the very end of our international press conference. For those who are watching online, you could see a QR code on your screen. So if you want to ask any questions, just scan the QR code, leave your questions there. We're going to collect your questions and help you ask questions to our speakers today. Today really is a rare opportunity for us to gather together the industry leaders. And to make this possible, we would like to thank Taitra, which is a foremost trade promotion organization of Taiwan. So to begin, we'd like to invite the President and CEO of Taitra, Mr. Walter Ye, to say a few words. Michael Tseng, Chairman of Taiwan Bicycle Association. Ms. Bunny Tu, Chairperson of Giant Group. And Mr. Robert Wu, Chairman of KMC, MENG International.
On behalf of Taitra, I would like to extend my gratitude to you for attending today's 2021 Taipei Cycle International Press Conference. 我们今天很高兴在这里举办。
I'm very happy that we can be here today for the Taipei Cycle International Press Conference. For this, I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you who are here with us or who are watching online right now. For the press conference of Taipei Cycle, usually we will invite the representatives from international media to come to Taiwan, to visit the factories, to go into some field trips for some in-depth coverages. But due to the pandemic this year, we cannot do that. So that's why we are having this press conference going online. I think what we really want to do today, maybe let me stand here, just under the limelight. I think this is a new model, this kind of online and offline integrated event or exhibition or press conference like today is a new model in this COVID-19 age, because a lot of buyers who cannot come to Taiwan to join the exhibition. So that's why we arrange this kind of online trade meetings or online events. Next year, during the Taipei Cycle 2021, we hope at that time that people already can travel to different places. But even if they cannot, we will continue to do this. The O&O model, the offline and online integrated model for buyers all over the world to join our show virtually. Taiwan is a very important base for bicycle components and also complete bicycles. I think a lot of people really want to explore what Taiwan's companies can offer. So we definitely will continue with our physical exhibition of Taipei Cycle 2021, scheduled to be held next year. And we'll do it in our, what I just said, O&O model, so that international buyers can still join our show in real time. And also through this kind of new model, we can collect the information, all the data about the exhibition, and provide the data to our exhibitors so that they can do some follow-ups and also incorporate that into their future strategies. I think this kind of virtual platform really is a great opportunity for Taiwan's companies and international buyers to exchange ideas and to interact. And also, Taitra has a total of 64 overseas offices all over the world. So through the help of these overseas offices, they will help our Taiwanese companies find buyers. And they will help invite the buyers, if they could, invite them to come to Taiwan to visit the Taiwanese companies during the show. Even if they cannot, these buyers can also join us online during the show. So through this platform, we are actually giving the exhibitors every opportunity to show their latest products. They can upload videos, they can show their strengths, do all kinds of online campaign. Just by logging on to our virtual platform, buyers all over the world can have a look at what Taiwanese companies or exhibitors can offer. And also, according to the latest statistics, from January to July this year, we're seeing some decrease of the exports of complete bicycles. However, we're seeing some great growth of e-bikes, not just here in Taiwan, but also in other big markets like in the US, the Netherlands, Germany. I think this kind of growth also has a lot to do with what Merida and also Giant or KMC has done so far this year. And what's really worth mentioning is that Sweden has become one of the biggest exporting country for Taiwan's e-bikes this year. And we also know that the reason behind that is because a lot of European countries have launched subsidies and put into money into promoting cycling and also the bicycle industry. Maybe that's also why we're seeing growth in the bicycle industry and especially the e-bike industry. So we're seeing a surge of growing bicycle demand in Europe. So in the Netherlands, we're seeing this kind of phenomenon and also trend, or in Germany or in the United States. So I think that's also what Taiwan's bicycle industry is going in the future for this kind of middle and high-end market. Of course, Taiwan's bicycles have been very highly regarded in the world market. We have a very sophisticated marketing network, and we also produce one of the best quality components to different places in the world, even with the pandemic bringing such havoc to the global market. Taiwan's bicycle industry managed to stand still very strongly. And of course, Taitra will continue to work with the bicycle industry of Taiwan to weather through this storm brought by the pandemic and to continue to explore overseas markets. Taitra will join hands with Taiwan Bicycle Association to make Taiwan continue to be one of the most important platforms for bicycle purchasing and also the industry exchanges. And lastly, I would like to once again express my gratitude to Bonnie, to Michael, and Robert, who are for sure the opinion leaders of the cycling industry of Taiwan. I believe they are going to bring us a lot of insights today. Thank you again. Thank you for your time. Thank you to Mr. Walter Ye, President and CEO of Taitra. You may return to your seats. We are really looking forward to the offline and online integrated Taipei cycle scheduled to be held in 2021, next year. Thank you again to Mr. Walter Ye. Next, we would like to invite Mr. Michael Tseng, Chairman of Taiwan Bicycle Association, to also share a few words with us. Let's welcome Mr. Tseng. All the cycling enthusiasts who are watching online right now, friends from the media, Mr. Ye, Mr. Tu, and Mr. Wu, good afternoon or good morning. We're seeing the huge impact brought by the pandemic. A lot of bicycle trade shows have been canceled. However, Taiwan is still trying very hard to navigate through this COVID-19 era. We are trying to find a way to sell up products in the new normal. Of course, to keep a social distance is very important. So that's why we are having this show going online and offline next year. Due to the pandemic, we see some restructuring work to be done. But we still see Taipei Cycle as a very important platform to carry on the momentum of Taiwan's cycling industry to continue to explore the global markets. We see a lot of challenges coming brought by the pandemic in the future. But I believe different sectors of the industry, we will continue to work together to keep going and to keep striving for more business opportunities for the industry. I know that Mr. Walter Ye is about to resign due to his age. He's going to be 65. So he's going to resign, but here I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to you. But that also means, Mr. Ye, you're going to have more time to do the cycling, to have more happy moments. So congratulations as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Tseng. Thank you so much for your talk. But before we move on to the panel discussion, we'd like to invite all of our distinguished guests to the front to have a group photo. All right. Now, for the first photo, Our printed media friends, you may come to the front to take a photo. Yeah, please put your mask on during the photo shoot. Okay, look to your right now.
好，OK，紧接着我们请。
And now look to your left. You want to take anyone who wants to take more photos? All right, maybe let's do a special pose to show our energy. Raise your hand and we will look at where your camera is. All right. All right, thank you very much. And our guests, please remain in the front. We have one more round of photos to take. Yeah, we will have our TV media in the back. Yeah, we're doing videos here. Please look at the cameras. Next year, Taipei Cycle 2021 will be continuing to bring business opportunities to exhibitors and buyers online and offline at the same time. And now we move on to the panel discussion. And for that, we'd like to invite all of our distinguished guests to have a seat in the front. Okay, we're going to have the leaders panel right now. And the topic is Cycling Through Uncertainty, Taiwan Bicycle Industry Transformation and Planning for the Pandemic World. What's special about the panel today is that not only me who's hosting this panel, but Mr. Ye will be co-hosting with me so that we can have a very insightful and in-depth discussion. So, Mr. Ye, would you like to open the panel for us?
Good afternoon, panelists. President Tseng, President Du, and our friends from the media. We have 3 other panelists today. The first is the chairperson of Merida, Mr. Tseng, and then Ms. Bonnie Du, chairperson of Giant Group. And then Mr. Robert Wu, chairman of KMC. Now, let's proceed to the first topic in our session. We're going to talk about the Taiwan bicycle industry under the strike of the pandemic. Taitra has been celebrating its 50th anniversary. It has been a good friend and help to the suppliers in Taiwan. But in 2018, the trade war and the strike of the pandemic this year, the economy in Taiwan has suffered greatly. So how can Taitra help the suppliers in Taiwan to survive this crisis? Well, I think COVID-19 has had a huge impact in the supply chain all over the world, especially the border control and travel restrictions has greatly limited how people can procure the parts that they need and, of course, our exports. Under such circumstances, digital trade has become the main channel of export. and trade. Taitra has been promoting digital trade so that our suppliers will be able to introduce or launch their products online and meet up with their business partners so that the customers will be able to have a better understanding of the product of the domestic suppliers. We had a lot of online digital product launches and procurement meetings. And we have some of the conference targeting the specific needs of our suppliers as well. They are all online meetings. And under the support of the government, we had a lot of digital marketing classes to train our suppliers so that they will be able to use the digital tools to their liking and help their business. So how can they take pictures, film videos, and tell a story online that would be able to capture people's attention online and then attract viewers to the web page. And that's all we have to learn in this digital age and what Taitra is doing. And of course, another one is how can they attract clients to the company. They are very important. Yes, Taitra has been trying to help the suppliers in this digital era. Now I'd like to ask President Tseng, under the outbreak of COVID-19, the Taiwan cycling industry or the international bicycle industry, what kind of impact have they suffered? Well, I think at the beginning of the outbreak, the supply chain has suffered greatly. At the darkest hours, a lot of the countries has closed down their borders. So in a way, international business has been blocked, and aren't able to export our parts or bikes into the country. So under the strike of the pandemic, we had like 2 or 3 months where nothing can go out of the country. But because of the government, great effort and control, the pandemic has been under control in Taiwan. So we have been trying to actually export goods to other countries and stock the warehouses in other countries as well. So in May and in June, when the pandemic kind of slowed down a bit, we were able to actually supply the distributors overseas and export more goods to the warehouses overseas so that there will be no shortage on the market. Well, during the outbreak of the pandemic, one of the challenges was the logistics, because there were a lot of lockdowns and the distributions were closed down, and it has definitely a great impact on the sales. So I would ask President Du, so how did you respond to the challenge? For Giant, the largest impact was in February and March because there's a lockdown in China. So the production has actually stopped completely. And because China is the world factory, so it did affect Taiwan and Europe and a lot of the distributors as well. But as it comes to sales, I think it did not suffer too much because the lockdown mainly happened in Europe. So during this lockdown, China and America, they're still, the market is still prospering. So we did actually be able to sell bikes in these two places. So I think aside from the lockdown in February and March, I think the bike industry in Taiwan did pretty well overall. Just like what President just said, a friend of mine in the United States, he told me that he used to take the subway to work, but after the outbreak of the pandemic, he bought a bike so that he can go to school go to work on bikes. And a lot of people, they used to go to gyms, but then because of the lockdown, they started to exercise with bikes. So I think as a mean of transportation, bikes are very popular in Europe. But the major cities in Europe, they encourage people to ride bikes to work and to school. So prior COVID-19, this is already a very common condition people can see. So in London, like before 9 o'clock, you can see a rush hour of bikes. So after the hit of COVID-19, I think aside from commuters who choose to ride bikes, I think when people, they used to take holidays, now they took homey days because they cannot go overseas for their holidays or vacations anymore. So they take holidays and vacations domestically. And this kind of domestic vacations, they usually go by families with their husbands and daughters. And that's why bikes became very popular as a mean for the vacation. Well, aside from that, when we ride bikes, we will be able to keep social distancing. So my friends from the United States, they say, riding a bike is definitely the safest way to exercise during the heat of the pandemic. I would like to ask President Wu about the supplies of the parts. Is there any changes during the heat of the pandemic? Yes, of course. As for the parts, definitely we have to take a look at the demands of the market. And throughout the process, we have to communicate with the factories. So from the information we received, what we know is that for the next few years, we definitely need to produce more parts. And I have some graphics so that I'll be able to share with you. Get a better idea with this. Over the past decade, because of 18, Taiwan has definitely thrived in the bicycle industry. Aside from 18 and the TPS, and because it can shorten the delivery date. So A-Team is definitely a leader of the Taiwan bicycle industry and cut down the cost of the bicycles. Like carbon fiber bicycles, they usually cost more than $3,000 per bike. But because of the establishment of A-Team and through the effort they made, we were able to cut down the price by 2/3. So we actually are able to provide low-cost, moderate-priced bikes. So the A-Team in the bike industry actually shorten the delivery date and actually improve the quality. And the performers were very excited by the statistics, and the customers were very satisfied with the price and the quality of the bikes. And that is the achievement of 18 since its establishment a decade ago. Thank you. So we can definitely learn that the bicycle industry in Taiwan has actually reaped profit during this period. That's a very rare situation that happened during the outbreak of the pandemic. So after the outbreak of the pandemic, two friends, like one is that they like to cook more, and a group of friends that they don't like to go in contact with with others, but they like to ride bikes as exercise. So looking back to the bicycle industry in Taiwan, we used to have a lot of OEM factories, but right now we have a lot of very famous and world-known brands that comes from Taiwan. So what are the advantages of the bicycle industry in Taiwan? Well, I have to say that Taiwan's bike brands translates to high quality and great price bikes. All our suppliers have been working really hard to build a brand like Giant or Merida. They're all world-known brands like KMC. They export parts. Well, they're less well-known to end customers, but they are very esteemed and well recognized. So a lot of suppliers will go to their booth to buy their chains because they are top-notch quality. So the three tycoons here today, they have achieved great efforts. So I think they have definitely gone into the international market very early. I used to work in Netherlands and in the UK, and I can see that the bicycle industry has already entered the market in Europe and established great network over there. So I think the distribution, the brand, and being working partnership with other international brands in other countries has happened very early in the history of bicycle industry development. So I think Taiwan has been working with a lot of the companies overseas. I think that is a great way to actually promote the success of the bicycle industry in Taiwan. And I think that's what we should be very proud of. And that is also why we have a competitive advantage in the overseas market.
I think it's true. I totally agree what you just said. Yeah, good quality and also appropriately priced products. Anything from Bunny? I think why is that Taiwan can come to where it is right now? I think it's due to what we done back in the 1970s. Our continuous efforts over 5 decades. Not just us from the bicycle industry who's working very hard, but we are also working with the government to set up industry standards. We have to make these standards and also regulations very clear to all the players in the industry so that we can work towards the same goal. And that's not an easy thing. And what about Michael? What do you think are challenges ahead of us? I think one of the challenges is that I've never changed what I thought for many years. I think the challenge is not from Taiwan, because Taiwan has a very good quality labor workforce. and also very good production capacity. But the thing is that sometimes we find it very difficult to market our products, to sell our products to different places in the world. I think that's what Taitra and also other governments can do to work with other countries' governments to lower the barriers for us to sell our products to their markets and to increase more opportunities for our industry, and also to prevent from any economic punishments or sanctions that would definitely halt the development of Taiwan's bicycle industry. I think that's very important. No matter how strong, how capable we are here in Taiwan, if we cannot go out, then that doesn't mean anything. Thank you, Michael, for sharing your valuable opinions. Definitely, Taiwan government will stand out to fight for the rights of Taiwan's companies, and the Taitra will also share this information with the Bureau of Foreign Trade and also other competent agencies in the government. And my next question goes to Robert. Any problems, any challenges caused by the pandemic to KMC? Yeah, I think when the pandemic was raging earlier this year, it came from China, and then it was the Southeast Asia, and then the outbreak became very serious in Europe, and now it's in the U.S. So it's almost 4 months. We cannot produce any products. So we're seeing a great shortage on the supply side. People just cannot find a bike to buy on different distribution channels. So we're seeing a great imbalance between the demand side and also the supply side. And here I also have some figures to share with you. I think it's very important to collect data and also information. And this is the data collected by 400 cameras in different cities all over the world. It's about how people make their trips by bicycles. So you see the bottom. That was when the pandemic was raging different places of the world. People just couldn't go out. So that was the lowest point. However, when the lockdown was gradually lifted, we're seeing it's coming back very rapidly, even better than before. Yeah, so this is a visualized data for all you can see. I have one more here. I think a lot of countries have proposed different strategies. They are giving very positive influence to the bicycle industry, including France, the US, Germany, the Netherlands. They all have very good policies. Like they want to increase the establishment of bike lanes and also the infrastructure. So actually during the pandemic, we not only see the challenges, but we also see the opportunities coming at the same time. So just like I said, the pandemic has disrupted the supply and demand, but we are trying to adapt. We are also adjusting our production capacity. And also, due to the pandemic, cycling or travel by bikes definitely has become one of the most ideal means of transportation so that people can travel while keeping a social distance. So to meet the rising demand, KMC have increased its working shifts and also trying to increase its workforce to produce more products. Next year, we are going to continue to do so to meet the growing demand from the market. Yeah, exactly. You really have to try very hard to satisfy this growing, very abruptly demand after the pandemic subsides. Of course, we have KMC, we have Giant, and also Merida here. They are different brands, but having heard what they just shared, it seems like they are also like a team. They also helped holding mics for each other. So I really feel that kind of camaraderie from our different brands representatives here. All right, now we come to the last part of our discussion. We want to talk about more about digital marketing and also digital trade. Taitra definitely is one of the pioneers and also one of the leaders on this regard. So I want to ask Mr. Ye, how do we help the exhibitors and also companies to go for more digital ways to look for business opportunities? I think definitely exhibition is a platform for exhibitors and also for companies to find their potential partners. But due to the pandemic, a lot of exhibitions have been canceled, so we have to do it online this year. We have to do a lot of the things online right now to negotiate with your partners, to find your to find your buyers, to expand your distribution channels. It's all online. So we really have to take advantage of this very important means. So we encourage the companies to upload videos and to make all their information available online. And we are also comparing our performances with other top leading companies in the world to see what's still not enough for our local companies. So it's going to be online, offline, integrated, and a much more syndicated way in the future. So that's what Taitra has also been doing, a lot of online events such as online trade meetings, online product launches. So I think what we will continue to do this to help the companies from Taiwan to keep their operations going. So this leads me to the next question for Giant. That Giant has been very good in its international marketing and also digital marketing. So do you have anything to share with us? Yeah, we've started to do this kind of international marketing a few years ago. But we were just doing it to expand our reaches at that time. But this year, the pandemic broke out. So this kind of digital marketing turned to be a very important factor for our entire marketing strategy. For our fifth generation TCR, we were doing it online, and we had very good feedback and also responses from all over the world. So that's when we started to do a lot of product launches online. And of course, now that we have the COVID-19, that you have to do a lot of things online, I think this kind of digital and also online product launch, this kind of digital marketing will become the new normal, so that you don't have to travel far to a specific place for a specific thing. Probably is not going to be like that anymore. I think this is the future trend. And also for our distributors, we will be having a conference, annual conference called Leaders Conference every year. And this year, of course, we cannot meet in person, so we just have this Leaders Conference online. And it actually makes it even easier for people to place orders or to exchange opinions. Sorry, I'm interrupting you here, because I just overheard that some of our speakers were saying that we have become an O-type enterprise. I'm just wondering what they mean by O-type enterprise. Actually, O stands for online. So we all have to become some kind of online companies in the future. Yeah, for Giant, we have been doing it for a few years right now. Yeah, for product launches, we are doing product launches every 4 quarters a year, and then that means you have to travel at least 4 times a year. But right now, we're doing this online, so you could just do it at home. And that's also what Giant is doing right now, just like what Apple or what Facebook is doing right now. And then what about Michael? What about Merida? Okay, let me put it this way. I think when COVID-19 first started, the Taiwan Bicycle Association has started to ask all our Taiwanese companies in China to start to move their bases back to Taiwan, so that even if the supply chain was disrupted, then you still have your bases, you still have your factories in Taiwan. You could still do something, you could still produce products. And also another factor is that due to the trade war between China and also the US, we also started to spread the message to our Taiwanese companies in China that you have to prepare yourself. You have to start to move something back to Taiwan. So that's something we already done before the pandemic. And of course, we also seen the trend of a digital show, and I think Taitra is making itself a very great role model by doing this. Because due to the border control and also the restrictions, if you want to go to a place, probably you still have to go through the 14-day quarantine. But with this online platform, you don't have to do that. With this online platform, you can just stay at home very safe, very healthy. You can stay away from all the possible risks. And you can place orders online, and then you can ship the product to where your client is. 100% what your client wants. It sounds very easy, but to make sure this process smooth and nice, then it takes a lot of experiences. It takes a lot of expertise. And Taiwan really has the edge of doing that. We have the experiences accumulated over the past 5 decades. The companies from Taiwan, I think we really have what it takes to do this kind of online shipping, online business exchanges. We will make sure that the product delivered to the hand of our client is exactly what the client wants. Yeah, so I think for this pandemic, if we want to make sure this digital marketing and also digital process is smooth and nice, then that really tests what we can do in the industry.
So we'll provide only the very best products in the exhibition that is very special to the supply chains in Taiwan. So when the overseas buyers take certain interest in the suppliers, will be able to stream live and broadcast the details to them. So we will have a lot of teams that's doing live broadcast at the exhibition. That is a very special feature this exhibition will have. As for KMC, you are the leader in the parts and accessories of the Taiwan bicycle industry. Do you have something to share? Yes. I would like to thank Walter Ye and the great work of Taitra, because 20 years ago, KMC and Taitra worked together to secure a location for KMC in Europe. At that time, we have had a lot of help from President Ye and the representatives from Taitra. So the bicycle industry and the parts and accessories supply chain has had a lot of help from Taitra to establish a base in Europe. That's for sure. So we have actually attracted clients and consumers from all over the world. After the outbreak of COVID-19, whether you like it or not, it's a fact. And a lot of countries and governments encourage social distancing, so we definitely have to adopt new strategies in sales. And I think it's going to become something that's normal in the future, and we have to accept it's a new approach and business sales strategy. 17 years ago, the outbreak of SARS had a huge impact on the industries as well. And back then, we knew that between the factories, between the countries, between borders, there's bound to be a time when the communication might come down. People won't be able to meet face to face, and physical contact would become rare. So the outbreak of COVID-19 actually is a testament to that prediction. And we have been preparing for a crisis like this. So Taitra has been leading us on a digital path. A lot of conferences are hosted by Taitra online. We have a lot of online exhibitions and introductions, demonstrations, and online forums. They are all hosted by Taitra to provide a platform for suppliers and buyers. So for the past 30 years, we have participated in exhibitions in Taipei. And we come in contact with our buyers face to face. But this year, whether you like COVID-19 or not, it's here. Has an impact on our lives, and we definitely have to deal with this with digital tools. So, on behalf of the parts and accessories supply chain in Taiwan, I thank Taitra for all your help. And thank you, Chairman Wu. we're all under the same roof. We have to work together to face the challenge and adapt. Though the outbreak is still having its impact on our lives at the moment, we will strive to meet the demands and provide new business opportunities through digital means. Okay. President Ye once said that the success of the exhibition actually lies in the satisfaction of the suppliers. And I see here today the suppliers were very gratified and thankful for the opportunities provided by Taitra. And they have definitely improved their competitive advantage because of these exhibitions. Now it's our QA time. Do you have any questions? Okay. Can you hand the microphone to the press that has a question? So, because of the outbreak of the pandemic, you have the promotion of the products in the Taiwan bicycle industry. Would you make any kind of adjustments in your promotion or sales strategy? Okay. Isn't she asking Taitra about this? Okay, Taitra is adopting digital means, online merges, and offline solutions to actually promote the sales. And we have online product launches and conferences and one-on-one procurement meetings. They are all there to promote the brand image of Taiwanese suppliers. So these are online marketing, digital marketing. This is the new strategies that we're adopting in this era. Everything is digital, is going online. And when the border restrictions are lifted, we will be able to go face-to-face and introduce ourselves to the suppliers and buyers. I think physical contact is crucial in a way, but because of the outbreak, we will have to respect the lockdowns and social distancing. Okay. Since Michael asked me to say something, I think bicycles have two wheels. That's not going to change. What changes is that we will go through our business through 5G and through online tools to make it more fun. That will allow us more freedom in the sales approach, whether be it the whole bike or just parts and accessories. That is our future prospect. In the future, we will have more freedom, we will have more fun, we'll play with parts and accessories and all the combinations. Customers will have more freedom as to how to put their bikes together. And we will have different kind of scenarios and to improve customer satisfaction. I hope that answers your question. If you have other questions as to quotations or some the specifications of the models, then we'll go into more depth later. I do believe as to the speed and as to the efficiency will definitely increases because these other managers, the buyers don't have to fly to Taiwan to actually procure these products. They can actually decide everything in their countries and we'll be able to give them quotations from Taiwan and produce the bikes or parts from Taiwan, export them to the designated countries. So definitely there would be some time that can be saved due to this kind of sales approach. So if you want a specific cost and you have to come and work for me, then I'll tell you all the details you want to know. I think the biggest challenge that we face at this moment is that after COVID-19's outbreak, people love to ride bikes to and fro and whatever they do. So there's a shortage in the supplies. So the parts and the accessory, the lead time of these parts and supplies actually lengthened. So what we have to actually speed up the process. What we do is that we have to simplify the specifications of the parts and accessories. Beforehand, we might have different kinds of saddles or these kind of cables or wheels or tires. But now we need to simplify all this kind of specification because we have a shortage in supply. And so we are happy about this kind of situation. And okay, other questions? I'm Angelica. I don't have a very deep understanding in the establishment of A-Team. Can you talk about its establishment and why it came to be? And is there a smart manufacturing or customized changes in the Taiwan cycling industry? Okay, as for A-Team, it happened in 2003. Well, the original idea happened in the year 2000. A lot of Taiwanese suppliers, they went and set up factories in China. So because of the factories based in China and because of the investment the Chinese government made, they began to think about how to make this process more fun. It's not just about how to make the bikes cheaper, but it's about how to make the bikes better, because we want to find a blue sea. We don't want to compete with other suppliers in the Red Sea. So that Mr. Liu Jingbiao, he actually take a look at the market and he said to us that this is not going to fly. So he talked to President Tseng and the other tycoons in the Taiwan bicycle industry and talked about the establishment of A-Team to actually steer the industry into research and development and design. And of course, the government asked the production consultant from Toyota to actually guide us throughout the process. So I think the establishment was in 2003, and then we started from there. I do believe that we did everything we can, but the biggest challenge remained to be human resources, including Merida. I think KMC, they're very brave because they have continued to invest in the factories, but we have a shortage in human resources, like a 40% shortage. We don't have enough people or staff to work in our factories. So the shortage in labor force definitely restricted the production. We want to work 24/7, but it's just simply impossible. We don't have enough staff. We have to abide to labor law. We have to give them their holidays. So it's kind of hindered by this shortage in human resources. Okay, we have one more questions. Okay, I'm from TVBS. You talked about orders. You said that there's exceed in orders, because can we ask like how many orders that you have right now? Well, the orders presently is that I think we are full until next year. As for parts and accessories, the lead time is a year. So we're actually fully booked. So I don't know how that will actually calm down, when that would actually calm down. As for domestic supplies, the bicycle tourism is on the rise. So starting in June, we came to a high peak. Before that, like not many people, they actually partake in bicycle vacations. But after June, the sales in bikes actually increased by 40%. I would like to add that the supply and demand and just like the statistics or the graphics that I provided earlier, in February and March and May, like all the countries, all the suppliers in the world market has been coming to a halt. So we only have like 2 months of stock overall. So we have zero production. So this kind of stock has depleted pretty fast. So what we're doing now that is we are producing bikes so to offer these suppliers, to offer these sales, because post-COVID-19, the behaviors changed and people commute with bikes. And we're still kind of trying to fulfill that kind of need. So I do think we're still seeing a drastic increase in the future, because post-COVID-19 era, behaviors changed and the demand increased in commuting with bikes and vacationing with bikes. So lead time has been indefinitely prolonged. Thank you.
好消息哈，不晓。
These are all good news. Yeah, I think we have some questions raised online, right? I got 3 questions here. The first one is to Mr. Walter Ye from Bike Europe. During the 2018 Taipei Cycle Forum, Mr. Ye, you mentioned that Taiwanese companies have great capacities in ICT and also in the electronic industry. They probably can take that to developing e-bikes in Taiwan. So it has everything. It got to develop the e-bike. So Mr. Ye, can you give us some insights? Yeah, of course. Just in terms of the trend of our Taipei cycle, the exhibition size has doubled for the e-bike. Yeah, we are also adding a lot of e-bike related devices and also components to our show. So Taipei Cycle is not just about traditional or complete bikes, it's also about e-bikes. It's also about smart cycling. And it's also growing with Taiwan's ICT and also Taiwan's high-tech industry. So I think that Taiwan has a very good opportunity, that Taiwan's bicycle industry has every opportunity to work with the ICT or also the high-tech industry also here in Taiwan. And this I want to ask Bonnie, what's your take? I think Bike Europe has been having a very good relationship with Taiwan for more than 20 years. They've been covering Taiwan's cycle industry development for more than 2 decades. I think not just Giants and Merida have been contributing to the development of the e-bike industry, but also Acer, ASUS, or other ICT industry giants are also trying to develop e-bikes. So I really think we are seeing a very positive trajectory for the development of e-bikes in the future for Taiwan. I think Taiwan's bicycle industry will be following the trend and also the development of e-cars. We will be much more electronic industry in the future. So we're seeing this kind of continuous growth of e-bikes. A lot of traditional bicycles are turned into electric bikes. And also by turning them into electric bikes, we also make them global products that could be sold to different markets all over the world. And we see this trend going on in the future. And Taiwan definitely has to seize this opportunity. And Taiwan is in a very good position right now, I have to say. Yeah, I really have to echo with what our previous speaker just said, that e-bike has become like the biggest topic in the bicycle industry. It's like if you don't go e-bikes, then you're not going to make any money. So a lot of companies making traditional bicycles are worried that they cannot catch up with this trend. They are going to be eliminated. So you really have to update and also upgrade your technologies and your products. It's not just about the materials, but you really have to take into account how e-bikes will be used in the future. To do that, you cannot do it just by yourself. So that's why we need to collaborate with other companies, with other industries, to make our e-bikes even better. Yeah, I have one more question about e-bikes from City Research. And this question is directed to Michael. Yeah, we're seeing growing demand of e-bikes in the future. Does it also mean we are going to see decrease of traditional bikes, or the decreasing curve of traditional bikes will be more moderated in the future? Yeah, we have seen that a lot of traditional bikes have been upgraded to e-bikes in a very fast pace. So to answer the question, we are definitely going to see a decreasing number of traditional bikes, such as motors, and with the motors and also lithium batteries and other technologies getting more mature. I think this transition will only be faster. And you also think that the e-bikes will be the definitely trend in the future, right? I think we are all on the same boat. We really have to work together. Yeah, we are living in this globalized community. It's not only about the growth here in Taiwan, it's also about the growth of markets in Europe, in the United States, in other places. It's about how we all work together to give consumers a better product. And also, one more thing about this is that I want to share about bicycles could actually be used and also be customized to meet the needs of different groups of consumers, such as senior bikers. And for sure, e-bikes will be helping this trend. I'm sorry, let me add one more thing here. I think Europe needs a lot of components and parts from Taiwan, but that's the same for Taiwan. Taiwan needs a lot of more high-end components from Europe, such as lithium batteries and also motors, engines. So I think it's both ways. It's two-way communication. It's not just about Taiwan or just about Europe. At least for now, I think I'm seeing this as a very positive trend that we're embarking on. Okay, let me try to respond from this perspective. I think bicycles are something that keep evolving. It's not like you have this one bike, then you can get rid of other bikes. You're going to abandon other of your bikes. These bikes are made for different purposes. And the existence or the coming of e-bikes is just to make this entire process more smooth. Maybe you are using e-bikes to go for some short-term or some long-distance travel. But for shorter distance travels, you must still use your traditional bikes. So having the e-bike doesn't mean that you have to abandon all your other bikes. It doesn't have to be that way. So I think I still have a lot of faith in our industry. I don't think that people are not going to give up all their bikes just because they buy one or two e-bikes. They can still have them all. Or some consumers are still thinking they probably still prefer their traditional bikes, and they probably still don't want to have the e-bikes yet. So all I can say is that maybe traditional bikes and also e-bikes can grow together. I would like to thank all of you for sharing so much with us. Churchill once said that we don't waste what a crisis can bring us. I think what a crisis can bring us is a lot of insights and opportunities, and this ends our press conference today. I would like to thank you so much for your participation. Taipei Cycle 2021. We'll see you next year. Welcome and join us in the Bike Kingdom of Taiwan next year. Thank you again.